Good morning and welcome to the Shrine of Remembrance and the 2022 Victorian State Remembrance Service. My name is Peter Whitelaw. I am a Life Governor at this Shrine of Remembrance. We begin the Remembrance Day service with a smoking ceremony and a welcome to country by Bunurong elders, Uncle Mick and Jungala.
Where we go? Yeah, you go?
Yeah.
Let's go. Give me the stick.
Good job.
See what I'm saying?
Hey.
Good morning, everybody. Wominjeka means welcome to the customs of the mighty Bunurong peoples, whose footsteps we walk in every day. On behalf of my peoples, the Bunurong Nation, and all the Kulin Nation, it is my honourable duty to welcome you all to this incredible ceremony. It's the second one for me. I, on behalf of our peoples, say this. We encourage you to come to the fire, our fire, share your spirit, share your strength, your power, your knowledge with us. No matter where you come from on Mother Earth, Wominjeka to you. Wominjeka to all your finite bloodline family tree. We are one. One red blood is our law. So we welcome all of you here today, particularly all you Dardi Migos, all you strong women, and all the women who have served this nation, our nation, and all you deadly strong soldiers, Dardi Mara Bra, all you strong brothers. And today I also welcome all our young ones, all our burois here over the back there. Wominjeka to you. You will be deemed by our peoples to be the honourable heroes for tomorrow. So on behalf of my peoples throughout Australia, and particularly here, the Kulin Nation, and I pay my deepest respects, and I welcome in particular our Premier, Dan, Wominjeka to you, and to you, Matt, Wominjeka to you, and anybody else who has a VIP status here today, welcome. Wominjeka, stay well. Stay strong, walk tall, and be safe. And be careful where you put your feet. Yeah, tread softly, tread gently and tread carefully. Yeah, and be careful where you put your feet. Why, you might be thinking? It's because under your feet, all of our finite, beautiful one red blood history sleeps. Wominjeka to you all. Stay well. Wamajika.
Thank you, Uncle Mick and Jungala. On this day, the 11th of November, we come together at this place and online to continue the unbroken tradition of remembrance for the service and sacrifice of hundreds of thousands of Australians in wars, past and present. We are joined by many distinguished guests, including members of the Victorian and federal governments, consuls representing nations across the world, and representatives of the current serving and veteran community. I make special mention of the Honourable Daniel Andrews, Premier of Victoria, and the Honourable Matthew Guy, Leader of the Opposition in Victoria. The Honourable Dr Michelle Ananda Rajah, representing the Prime Minister of Australia, and Her Excellency, the Honourable Dame Annette Fay King, New Zealand High Commissioner to Australia. Today marks the anniversary of the Armistice, which was the agreement that ended fighting in the First World War. At 11 a.m. on the 11th of November 1918, fighting in Western Europe ceased and the guns fell silent after 4 years of continuous warfare and millions of lives lost. For a time, the world knew peace. This day marks 104 years since that day. Here, as the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month approaches, we come together to reflect in 1 minute silence. We commemorate the lives lost in the pursuit of peace, and with the enduring hope that the world may never again know such pain. Remembrance Day and the Shrine have been linked since this building was dedicated on the 11th of November 1934. On that day, 300,000 people gathered here, testament to the devastating impact of the First World War on all Victorians. The Shrine continues to be a place to mourn our loved ones lost to war. Today, we join together to honour the service and sacrifice of all Victorians and Australians who have served in war, conflict, peacemaking and peacekeeping. We express our gratitude to those who gave their all to secure our future, and we recognise their humanity, their courage, their fortitude and their dedication. Service and sacrifice continue in the actions of more than 40,000 members of the Australian Defence Force who have engaged in war and warlike operations this century in Iraq and Afghanistan. And we remember those who served in Bougainville, Timor-Leste and the Solomon Islands. Our servicemen and women have also served in bushfire and flood relief and during the COVID-19 pandemic. We also remember how the grief of families 104 years ago is the same grief, heartache, pride and love felt by the families of more than 60 members of the Australian Defence Force who lost their lives in service during this century. We remember the families of veterans who struggle to reconcile the loss of their loved ones to suicide. We remember the service and sacrifice of more than 400,000 Victorians who have served and who continue to serve. Australians and peacemaking and peacekeeping have a long history, almost as long as the United Nations itself. Yet maintaining peace has never been easy. More than 66,000 Australians have deployed in peacemaking and peacekeeping operations over the past 75 years, defending the democracy and equality and working to save lives and help those who cannot help themselves. These peacemakers and peacekeepers often find themselves far from home, in dangerous places, with supplies low and their ability to help restricted or even resisted. 16 Australians have died on peacemaking and peacekeeping operations. We do not record the numbers of those who have died later because of injuries acquired on operations, or the families trying to reconcile the loss of their loved ones to suicide, or those who carry eternal scars. Peacemaking and peacekeeping is not easy, but we know that it is worth doing. This shrine was born from the loss and devastation of war, from the grief of our state and our nation. The shrine stands as a warning, a reminder that peace hard won by generations past must endure for the generations to come. We are joined today by 4 people who can relate to that search for peace, 4 veterans who know firsthand its elusive fragility. Lieutenant Commander Jan Gallagher, who has served in the Royal Australian Navy for 41 years, Captain Tyson Taylor, who has served in the Australian Army for 15 years, Squadron Leader Steve Campbell-Wright, who has served in the Royal Australian Air Force for over 40 years, and Miss Prue Cox, who is the daughter of a World War II nurse, Dulcie Pocock. In this 88th year that the Shrine has commemorated Remembrance Day, we reflect on our collective hope for peace. Today's ceremony is kindly supported by the Australian Defence Force. We are joined by the Royal Australian Navy Band, the Australian Army 2nd 10th Battery, 9th Regiment, and a half-guard party from the Australian Army. I now invite the Army Guard to march on.
Guard by the left! Second division, front flank, steady! Second division, rear rank, steady!
Her Excellency, the Governor of Victoria, and Mr Anthony Howard are now arriving. They will be greeted by Captain Stephen Bowater, Chair of the Shrine of Remembrance Trustees, the Honourable Daniel Andrews, Premier of Victoria, and the Honourable Matthew Guy, Leader of the Opposition in Victoria. Please be upstanding for the arrival of the Governor. Please be seated. The Governor will now inspect the Army Guard. The Governor will now make her way into the sanctuary inside the Shrine of Remembrance. You will be able to watch the proceedings in the sanctuary on the screens on either side of the shrine forecourt. Inside the shrine, the catafalque party will take place. It consists of 4 sentries who guard the symbolic grave of our deceased veterans. Shrine Guard, take post. If you are able, I invite you to please stand as we commence the ceremonial part of today's service. The Governor will now lay a wreath at the Stone of Remembrance on behalf of the people of Victoria. I now invite Jan Gallagher, Tyson Taylor, Steve Campbell-Wright and Prue Cox to step forward and ask them to place their wreaths on behalf of all those who they have served alongside. Our wreath layers will now proceed up the stairs to recite the Odes of Remembrance. Immediately following the Odes, bugle calls and gunfire will announce the start and end of the 1 minute of silence at 11 a.m. If you are able, please remain standing throughout.
They have no grave but the cruel sea, no flowers lay at their head. A rusting hulk is their tombstone, a fast on the ocean bed.
They went with songs to the battle. They were young, straight of limb, true of eyes, steady and aglow. They were staunch to the end, against all odds encountered. They fell with their faces to the foe.
Up, up, the long, delirious, burning blue. I've topped the windswept heights with easy grace, where never lark nor even eagle flew. And, while with silent, lifting mind, I've trod the high, untrespassed sanctity of space, put out my hand and touched the face of God.
They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them, lest we forget.
Lest we forget. Please be seated. The Camberwell Chorale will now perform "Let Us Now Praise Famous Men." Thank you, Camberwell Chorale, for that moving performance. I now invite Shrine Young Ambassador Rohan Bardwell to recite "In Flanders Fields."
In Flanders fields the poppies blow, between the crosses row and row, that mark our place, and in the sky the larks still bravely singing fly, scarce heard amid the guns below. We are the dead, short days ago, we lived, felt dawn, saw sunset glow, loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders fields. Take up our quarrel with the foe, to you from failing hands we throw. The torch be yours to hold it high, if you break faith with us who die. We shall not sleep, though poppies grow, in Flanders fields.
Thank you, Rohan. I now invite the Governor to present the Remembrance Day address.
Could I start by acknowledging the Honourable Daniel Andrews, Premier of Victoria, the Honourable Matthew Guy, Leader of the Victorian Opposition, Dr Michelle Ananda Raja, Federal Member of Parliament representing the Prime Minister, members of state and federal parliaments, Her Excellency the Honourable Dame Annette King, High Commissioner of New Zealand, and members of the Consular Corps, the Right Honourable the Lord Mayor Sally Capp, Captain Stephen Bowater, Chair and Trustees of the Shrine of Remembrance, Senior Officers of the Australian Defence Force, Des Callaghan, Senior Vice President of RSL Victoria Branch, of course, former and current servicemen and women, and everybody gathered here today. Can I also start by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land on which we're gathering and pay my respects to their elders past and present, and to elders of other communities who are with us as well. Since the end of the First World War more than 100 years ago today, the 11th day of November has been a day to remember and honour those who served in that war and in all wars and peacekeeping missions since. I've now had the privilege to represent the people of Victoria on 8 consecutive Remembrance Days. I'm conscious that the privilege is a significant one. I'm permitted to speak of remembrance, although I've never personally fought in war or lost a loved one in the line of duty. And I speak from the comfort of home while others are on active service, separated from those dearest to them as they represent our country in positions of risk or hardship. But I don't speak from a personal perspective. I speak on behalf of all Victorians, on behalf of those who do know the loss of war directly or through family or community, for the descendants of those who fought on our behalves before they even had the right to vote in a country that they and their ancestors had nurtured for generations, and for those who fought for a newly adopted home, some already having escaped conflict or hardships in which they and their families were not safe or free to flourish. And of course, I speak for all of those who are gathered here or at local memorials and cenotaphs right around our state, or those who pay their respects through private contemplation, observing that 1 minute of silence at work or school or home. And what binds us all today is that despite the passage of time, we do pause to remember those who've paid the price for peace, for stability, for democracy. On this, the first Remembrance Day observed since the passing of Queen Elizabeth II, I think of her in 1940 as a 14-year-old girl, delivering her first public address on radio to the young people affected by World War II, when she said to them, "And when peace comes, remember it will be for us, the children of today, to make the world of tomorrow a better and happier place." Sadly, humankind has not yet perfected the making of the world a permanently better and happier place. High hopes after previous wars, when the pain and grief of what was endured was firmly and freshly front of mind, have many times been dashed. We've been reminded by tragic world events this year that peace is fragile, that conflict can come quickly, that lives and homes are lost or changed forever, and that the reasons for which we do remember are not just abstract or historical, but real and often repeated. And so, as I stand here for all Victorians, I think of those who lie in war cemeteries far from home, or of those never found, or of those who grieve, and of those who bear the lifelong scars of service. And I think of all those, past and present, who have committed, who, recognising the fragility of peace, have not been defeated by that recognition, but have instead been motivated to serve, and in the words of the young Princess Elizabeth, to make the world a better and happier place. And that's why we say, lest we forget.
Thank you, Governor. The wreath will now be laid. Please come forward once I have announced your name and place your wreath. To begin, I invite the Honourable Daniel Andrews, Premier of Victoria, and the Honourable Matthew Guy, Leader of the Opposition in Victoria. Representing the Prime Minister of Australia. Commissioner to Australia. Members of the Victorian and Federal Parliaments, the Lord Mayor of Melbourne, and the Chairperson of the Victorian Multicultural Commission. Senior Naval, Army and Air Force officers in Victoria and the New Zealand Navy. Heads and representatives of government departments. The Chief Commissioner of Police, Victoria Police and Emergency Services representatives. Members of the Consular Corps. Members of Veterans Associations. now invite the Shrine Young Ambassadors to lay wreaths representing the school students of Victoria. I now invite anyone else amongst us who wishes to lay a floral tribute on the steps may come forward now. Thank you. In the concluding part of our service, the Royal Australian Navy Band will play Advance Australia Fair. Immediately following the anthem, a flock of pigeons will be released from the balcony, just as they were at the opening of the Shrine of Remembrance in 1934. If you are able, please stand and join in singing the Australian National Anthem performed by the Navy Band. Let the pigeons fly in symbolic expression of our shared hope of enduring peace. We thank Ed Sheeran and Jerry Sheen, the nephews of able seaman Teddy Sheen VC, for providing the pigeons for this tribute. This brings us to the conclusion of today's Remembrance Day service. Please remain standing for the departure of the Governor and Mr. Anthony Howard. The Royal Salute will now be played. Thank you. You may now be seated. The Army Guard will now march off.
Band by the centre! Guard by the right! Quick!
Shrine Guard, Catapult Party, dismount. We thank the Victorian Office for Veterans for supporting today's service. We also thank the Royal Australian Navy, Australian Army and the Royal Australian Air Force, Victoria Police and the Shrine Guard for their support. We thank Uncle Mick and Jungala. We thank our Veterans and Shrine Young Ambassador, Rohan Bardwell, for their participation. And we thank you for joining us here today at the Shrine of Remembrance and online. And we thank you for taking this moment to pause and reflect on this day when we recall the fragile joy of peace at the end of war. Finally, in joining us for this service, you have participated in giving remembrance. Thank you for your support.